The millionaire laughed at the single mechanic, but what he did with her car shocked everyone. Patricia Cavalcante never imagined that a simple problem with the engine of her imported car would change her life forever. The 42-year-old businesswoman was used to solving everything with money, but this time would be different. The engine failed right on Rua das Palmeiras, a busy street in the Vila Esperança neighborhood in the eastern part of Sao Paulo. Patricia looked around with contempt. Simple houses, popular shops, and people who clearly weren't part of her social circle. She needed to get to the office urgently for a meeting that would define a 15 million real deal. She couldn't waste time in that place. How annoying! Right here, she muttered, looking out the window of her BM. Her private driver, Edmilson, got out of the car and pointed to a faded sign hanging on a shed. Miss Patricia, there's a repair shop over there. Maybe they can take a look. A repair shop in this place? Edmilson, have you lost your mind? Ma'am, the car won't start. We have no choice. Patricia took a deep breath, adjusted her navy blue Armani blazer, and got out of the vehicle. Her Louboutin heels clicked loudly on the uneven asphalt. She walked toward the repair shop with her nose turned up, as if the air there were contaminated. Joao's repair shop was open. 3 old cars occupied the small courtyard. A gray-haired man sat in a plastic chair, leafing through a yellowed newspaper. A woman with grocery bags chatted animatedly with a girl in a nursing uniform. João Carlos Santos was half under a blue Volkswagen Beetle when he heard the heels approaching. He slid out, wiped his hands on a rag, and stood up. At 40, his face was marked by work and a gentle smile that contrasted with the grime of his profession. Good afternoon, how can I help you? Patricia looked him up and down, a gray t-shirt stained with grease, faded denim shorts, worn-out sneakers, and a black cap that partially hid his dark hair. She sighed impatiently. My car broke down. It needs to be fixed now. What kind of problem is it having? How should I know? That's what mechanics are for, isn't it? João remained calm. He was used to all kinds of customers. Can I take a look? Where's the vehicle? Patricia pointed to the BMW parked on the street. João whistled softly. Nice car. I'll go get my tools. While João walked over to the BMW, Patricia stood in the middle of the workshop, obviously uncomfortable. The man with the newspaper greeted her with a wave, but she didn't even respond. The woman with the bags tried to strike up a conversation. First time here, dear. João is very good. He's been fixing my car for 15 years. That's good for you, replied Patricia, fiddling with her cell phone. João lifted the hood of the BMW and began to examine the engine. After a few minutes, he returned to the workshop. It's a problem with the fuel pump. I'll need a part. Can I get it by tomorrow morning? Tomorrow? Are you crazy? I need the car now, ma'am. It's an imported BMW. The part isn't easy to find. Patricia lost her patience. Her voice echoed throughout the workshop. Listen, I don't care about your difficulties. I'll pay whatever it takes to have my car running in an hour. Even if I had the part, the repair would take longer. Longer? Do you really not understand who you're talking to? The atmosphere became tense. The other customers stopped talking and looked at the scene. João remained calm, but Patricia was just getting started. Let me guess, 40 years old, single, living with your mother. I bet you can't even get laid. The man with the newspaper closed it indignantly. The woman with the shopping bag shook her head in disapproval. João felt his face flush, but he didn't respond. Men like you are a problem for society, with no ambition, no future, no value whatsoever. You live in mediocrity, thinking it's normal. Ma'am, please, please. What? I'm telling the truth. Look at you, dirty, poorly dressed, working in this horrible place. What woman would want to be with someone like that? João took a deep breath. His hands trembled slightly, but he kept his voice calm. I'll see what I can do for your car. That's right. Do your job and stop making excuses. Patricia left the workshop to call her office. Edmilson waited for her awkwardly next to the BM, but the other customers remained silent for a few moments. What an unpleasant woman, murmured the lady with the shopping bags. Poor João. He didn't deserve that, added the man with the newspaper. João went back under the Beetle, but his concentration was shaken. Patricia's words echoed in his mind. Single at 40, worthless, with no future. He had heard similar comments before, but never so cruelly. 20 minutes later, Patricia returned to the workshop talking loudly on her cell phone. Ricardo, I don't want to hear about the problems. I need to be there in 2 hours or we'll lose the contract. What do you mean? You'll have to reschedule. Are you crazy? She hung up angrily and turned to Joao. Well, have you decided, ma'am? As I explained, I need the part. Are you deaf or just pretending? I said I'll pay whatever it takes. It's not a question of money. The part doesn't exist around here. Patricia moved closer, speaking with disdain. You know what the problem is with people like you? Lack of vision, lack of drive. If it were me, I'd find a way. How? I don't know. Call other places, go get the part, do something useful with your life. Joao stopped what he was doing and looked directly at her. Ma'am, I'm going to make some calls. Wait here. He went into the small back room of the workshop and picked up an old telephone. Patricia took the opportunity to take a closer look at the surroundings. The walls were covered with neatly arranged tools, old workshop calendars, and some yellowed photos. One of them caught her attention. It was a graduation photo of an engineering class. In the middle of the group, she recognized Joao's younger face wearing a cap and gown. Patricia looked closer, confused. It didn't make sense. Edmilson, come see this. The driver approached and looked at the photo. It's Joao, boss, but it looks like an engineering graduation according to what's written here. Patricia continued to examine the wall. There was a framed diploma half hidden behind some tools. It was Joao Carlos Santos's, who had graduated in mechanical engineering from the University of Sao Paulo. The date was 20 years ago. That can't be right, she muttered. Joao returned from the living room holding a piece of paper with notes on it. I managed to locate the part. It's in Guarulhos. I can go get it now, but it will take at least 3 hours. Really, that's ridiculous. It's the best I can do, ma'am. Patricia pointed to the photo on the wall. Is that you? Joao looked where she was pointing, and his expression changed. Yes. Do you have a degree in engineering? I do. So what are you doing working in this workshop? Joao hesitated. He didn't like to talk about his personal life, especially after the humiliation he had suffered. It's a long story. I'm waiting. Dear listener, if you are enjoying this story, please like it, and above all, subscribe to the channel. This helps us a lot as we are just starting out. Continuing, I'd rather not go into details. I'll go get your part. Joao grabbed the keys to an old motorcycle and headed for the street. Patricia was intrigued. An engineer graduated from USP, working as a mechanic in a neighborhood workshop. It didn't make sense. She decided to take the time to investigate further. She talked to the man with the newspaper, who introduced himself as Osvaldo. Have you known Joao for a long time? About 15 years. He's a golden boy. He always helps everyone here in the neighborhood. How does he help? Oh, ma'am, Joao does much more than fix cars. When someone is having a hard time, he finds a way to help. I've seen him fix cars for free for single mothers, lend money to those who need to buy medicine. Patricia listened in silence. That didn't fit with the image she had created of the man. And why does he work here if he's an engineer? Osvaldo lowered his voice as if he were about to tell a secret. Because of his mother, Mrs. Rosa. She has memory problems, you know. Joao has been taking care of her alone for many years. Memory problems? She started developing Alzheimer's about 10 years ago. Joao was an engineer at a large company, but he had to give up everything to take care of her. Patricia felt something strange in her stomach, a feeling she couldn't identify. He never married. He came close a few times. But it's difficult for him. Mrs. Rosa needs constant care. What woman would accept such a situation? The businesswoman remained silent. The cruel words she had said about Joao being single at 40 took on a different weight. He's a good mechanic, the best in the region, but they say he used to know a lot about industrial machinery. He's invented a few things. What kind of things? I'm not sure. People say he created some energy-saving equipment for factories, but that was before he opened his workshop. Patricia moved away from Osvaldo and called her personal assistant. Felipe, I need you to look up someone for me. Joao Carlos Santos, a mechanical engineer who graduated from USP 20 years ago. Now, Miss Patricia, it's urgent. While she waited, she observed the activity in the workshop. Ordinary people came and went, always greeting Edmilson warmly. An elderly lady arrived, walking slowly, carrying a heavy bag. Edmilson, where's Joao? Where's Rochelle? She asked. He went out to take care of a problem, Mrs. Rosa. He should be back in a few hours. Patricia approached. The woman was about 70 years old with white hair tied in a simple bun and wearing old, clean clothes. Her blue eyes looked confused. "Who are you?" "I'm Joao's mother. He told me to come here if I forgot the way home." "Forgot the way?" Mrs. Rosa smiled innocently. "Sometimes I get lost. My head isn't working very well, but Joao always finds me." Patricia looked at the woman more closely. Her clothes were simple but well cared for. Her hands trembled slightly as she rummaged through her bag. "Do you live far from here?" "I don't know. I live with my son. He's a very good boy, you know. No, he takes good care of me." Edmilson approached and offered Donna Rosa a chair. "Would you like a glass of water, Donna Rosa?" "Thank you, dear. Do you know my Joao?" "Yes, I do. He's my friend." Patricia felt her cell phone vibrate. It was Felipe. "Donna Patricia, I got some information about Joao Carlos Santos." "Go ahead." Mechanical engineer, graduated from USP in 2005. Worked at San Bernardo Metallurgical for 8 years. He was promoted quickly and became head of engineering. He has several patents registered in his name. Patents for what? Industrial automation systems and energy-efficient equipment. One of the patents was sold to a German company for $2 million in 2010. Patricia almost dropped her phone. $2 million, that's right. But he left the company in 2013. Since then, there has been no professional record of him. Anything else? Yes. He was a finalist for a National Innovation Award in 2012. His invention revolutionized energy efficiency in large industries. Patricia hung up the phone in shock. The man she had humiliated was not just an ordinary mechanic. He was a brilliant engineer who had given up a promising career. She looked at Mrs. Rosa, who was chatting animatedly with Edmilson about cake recipes. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together in the businesswoman's mind. An hour later, Joao returned with the BMW part. He was sweaty and tired from the motorcycle trip to Guarulhos. "Mom, what are you doing here?" he asked worriedly. "I came to look for you, my son. I got lost on the way to the bakery." Joao hugged Donna Rosa affectionately and helped her sit down comfortably. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll take you home now." "You don't have to, Joao. I know the way," she said, confused. "I know you do, Mom, but I'll come with you to keep you company." Patricia watched the interaction between mother and son. Joao's affection and patience contrasted completely with the image she had created of him. "Joao, can I talk to you?" she said, approaching him. "What do you want, ma'am?" "About what happened earlier." "I wanted to. You don't have to say anything. I'll fix your car and that's it. But I need to. I didn't know you were an engineer." Joao stopped working with his tools and looked at her. "Does that change anything?" "Yes, it does. You could be making a lot of money at a big company." "I could. So why are you here?" Joao looked at Mrs. Rosa, who was leafing through an old magazine. "Because some things are more important than money." "How so? My mother needs me. I can't leave her alone." "But there are caregivers, specialized homes. Ma'am, my mother is not a problem to be outsourced. It is my responsibility and my pleasure to take care of her." Patricia felt a tightness in her chest. She had never thought of taking care of her own mother with such dedication. "Your mother, does she have Alzheimer's?" "Yes, she was diagnosed 10 years ago, and you gave up engineering because of that?" "I did. She was getting confused, getting lost on the street, forgetting to eat. I couldn't leave her in an institution. But your career, my career, is not worth more than my mother's dignity." Joao began to install the new part in the BMW. Patricia watched silently, processing everything she had discovered. "People here in the neighborhood told me that you help a lot of people. People talk too much. It's true that you sometimes repair cars for free when someone really needs it. And why do you do that?" Joao stopped working and looked directly at her. "Why wouldn't I? If I can help someone and it doesn't hurt me, what's the problem? You don't make any money. I make enough to live on. I don't need more than that." Patricia tried to understand his logic, but she couldn't. In her world, everything revolved around maximum profit. It doesn't make sense. Maybe not to you. To me, it makes perfect sense. Joao finished the installation and started the BM. The engine worked perfectly. "There you go, your car's fixed. How much do I owe you?" 200 for part and 50 for labor. Patricia was surprised. At any import car repair shop, she would pay at least $1,000 for this repair. "That's all. It's a fair price." She took her 500 out of her wallet and handed it to Joao. "Keep the change. No need, ma'am. 250 is enough, but you went all the way to Guarulhos to get the part. It's part of the service, Patricia insisted, but Joao refused to accept any more money. She put the money away, increasingly confused by his behavior. Joao, can I ask you a personal question? Sure. Do you regret leaving engineering? Joao looked at Donna Rosa, who was dozing in her chair. Never. Every day I spend with my mother is a gift. We can earn money again, but time lost with those we love never comes back. Patricia felt her eyes well up. She hardly ever saw her own mother, who lived alone in a luxury apartment in the gardens. Does your mother recognize you? Most days, yes, but there are difficult moments. Sometimes she confuses me with my father, who has passed away. Other times she doesn't recognize me. And how do you deal with that? With patience and love. Even when she doesn't recognize me, I know who she is. She's my mother, the woman who raised me, who taught me values. She deserves all the care in the world. Patricia said goodbye quietly and got into the BM. All the way to her office, she couldn't stop thinking about her conversation with Joao. She arrived late for the meeting and lost the $15 million contract. But for the first time in a long time, it didn't seem like the most important thing in the world. That night, Patricia called her mother. Mom, how are you, Patricia? What a surprise. Is everything okay, daughter? Yes, Mom. I just wanted to know how your day went. Oh, dear, same as always. I woke up, had breakfast, read a little. Loneliness is hard, you know? Loneliness. Yes, dear. Sometimes I go days without talking to anyone. Only the cleaning lady comes here twice a week. Patricia felt a tightness in her heart. When was the last time she had visited her mother? She couldn't remember. Mom, how about coming over for dinner tomorrow? Really, sweetie? Aren't you too busy? I'm never too busy for you. That's great. It's been so long since we've had a proper chat. After hanging up, Patricia was lost in thought. How had she become so distant from the people who really mattered? The next morning, she stopped by Joao's repair shop on her way to work. She wanted to thank him again for repairing her car. Good morning, Joao. Good morning, ma'am. Any problems with the BMW? No, it's working perfectly. I just wanted to thank you. No need, it's part of the job. Patricia watched Donna Rosa sweeping the workshop yard with slow but determined movements. Does your mother help out at the workshop? She likes to feel useful. She does some simple tasks when she's feeling well. And on bad days, I take care of her at home, close the workshop, and stay with her. Don't you lose money? I do, but I gain other things. Like what? Precious moments. Yesterday, she remembered a song she used to sing to me when I was a child. We sang together for an hour. It was worth more than any amount of money. Patricia felt tears welling up in her eyes. When was the last time she had spent an entire hour just talking to her mother? Joao, can I ask you a strange question? Of course. How can you be so patient? I'm not perfect, ma'am. Sometimes I get tired, stressed, sad, but then I remember everything my mother did for me. How so? She worked as a cleaning lady for 20 years to give me an education. She woke up at 4 a.m. and came home at midnight. She never complained, never said she was tired, always had a smile for me. Joao looked at Dona Rosa tenderly. When I passed the entrance exam for USP, she cried with joy. She said that all the struggle had been worth it. Now it's my turn to give back, with your inventions, your patents. I continued to develop some things here in the workshop. Nothing big, but it helps to increase our income. I heard that one of your inventions was sold for a lot of money. It was. I used the money to buy our house and invest in my mother's treatment. Treatment, special medications, physical therapy, consultations with specialists. What's left is saved for emergencies. Patricia was impressed. The man she had judged to be a failure was, in fact, an example of character. Joao, have you ever thought about going back to engineering, hiring a caregiver for your mother? I've thought about it, but I don't want a stranger to take care of her. My mother took care of me with love. I want to do the same for her, even if it means giving up a promising career. Especially because of that, professional success without personal meaning is empty. Patricia said goodbye and went to the office with her head buzzing with thoughts. She had built a business empire, but she felt empty inside. Throughout the week, she returned to the workshop with different excuses. Sometimes she said she wanted to check the car. Sometimes she asked about preventive maintenance. In fact, She was fascinated by the dynamic between João and his mother. She observed how he had infinite patience when Dona Rosa repeated the same question 10 times, how he smiled when she told stories that made no sense, how he reassured her when she was confused about where she was. One day, Patricia witnessed a scene that touched her deeply. Donna Rosa had gotten lost between the repair shop and the bakery on the corner. João received a desperate call from the baker and ran out to look for her, leaving customers waiting. He found his mother sitting in a square 3 blocks away, crying because she couldn't remember where she lived. "Mom, I'm here," said João, kneeling in front of her. "João, my boy, I can't remember the way home." "Don't worry, Mom, I'll take you there. Aren't you mad at me?" "Why would I be mad? You didn't do anything wrong, but I got lost." "Everyone gets lost sometimes. The important thing is that we're together now." Patricia watched everything from afar, her heart aching. She tried to imagine how she would react if she were her mother in the same situation. She would probably be impatient, irritated, embarrassed. Dear listener, if you are enjoying the story, please like it, and above all, subscribe to the channel. This really helps those of us who are just starting out. Continuing, that afternoon, Patricia made a decision, canceled an important meeting, and went to visit her mother at her apartment in the gardens. Marta Cavalcante was 73 years old and had lived alone since her husband died 5 years earlier. The apartment was luxurious but cold. There were no recent family photos, only old portraits in silver frames. "Patricia, what a surprise," said Dona Marta, opening the door. "Hi, Mom. I came to visit you like we promised." "That's great, sweetie. Come in. Come in. Would you like some coffee?" The apartment was spotless, but Patricia noticed that there was only enough food for one person in the refrigerator. Her mother was thinner than the last time they saw each other. "Mom, are you eating right?" "Oh dear, when you live alone, you don't really feel like cooking." "Why didn't you tell me? I can hire someone to cook for you." "No need, dear. I'm fine." They talked for 2 hours. Mrs. Marta told her about her lonely routine, how she missed her husband, about the neighbors who no longer greeted her. "Honey, can I ask you a question?" "Of course, Mom. Are you happy?" The question took Patricia by surprise. "What do you mean? Your life, are you happy with everything you've achieved?" Patricia thought about the question. She had money, success, recognition, but happiness? How long had it been since she had felt truly happy? "I don't know, Mom. I think so. You work too hard, daughter. Sometimes I'm afraid you'll forget to live." "What do you mean forget to live?" "Living is more than working and making money. It's having relationships, caring for the people we love, making a difference in the lives of others." Patricia remembered João taking care of Dona Rosa. He really lived while she merely existed. "Mom, how about coming to live with me for a while?" "Daughter, are you sure? Your apartment is very modern. I'm an old-fashioned woman." "I'm sure, Mom. I want to take care of you." Mrs. Marta began to cry. "I've been waiting for you to say that for years, daughter." Patricia hugged her mother, feeling guilty for taking so long to offer. The following week, Mrs. Marta moved into Patricia's apartment. The businesswoman hired a part-time caregiver, but insisted on spending mornings and evenings with her mother. It was a period of readjustment for both of them. Patricia discovered things about her mother that she had never noticed before. Dona Marta was an excellent cook, loved plants, and had an impressive memory for family stories. "Daughter, did you know that your grandfather was a carpenter?" "I didn't know that, Mom. He was. He made the most beautiful furniture in town. He said that working with his hands was a form of art." Patricia thought of João working in the workshop. There was art in what he did too. A month later, she returned to the workshop for a service on her BMW. João greeted her with his usual gentle smile. "How are you, ma'am?" "Patricia." "Can you call me Patricia?" "How are you, Patricia?" "Good, my mother came to live with me." "That's great. I'm sure she was happy." "She was. And so was I." João smiled and began to examine the car. Patricia watched Mrs. Rosa helping Osvaldo organize the tools. "How is your mother?" "She has good days and bad days. Yesterday was a difficult day. She didn't recognize me for a few hours." "How do you deal with that?" "I remember that she is still here. I can still hug her, take care of her, show her my love. Many people lose their parents without warning." Patricia was moved. She had almost lost the chance to spend time with her mother through sheer negligence. "João, can I make a strange proposal?" "What is it?" "How about if I finance an experimental treatment for your mother?" Joao stopped working and looked at her. What do you mean? I researched Alzheimer's. There are new treatments, drugs in the testing phase. I can pay for everything. Patricia, that must cost a fortune. That's not a problem. I want to do this, but why? Because you taught me something important. You taught me the value of caring for those we love. Joao was silent for a few moments. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Your mother deserves every chance possible. She does, but I can't accept charity. It's not charity, Joao, it's gratitude. Gratitude for what? For changing my perspective on life. Joao looked at Dona Rosa, who was laughing at something Osvaldo had said. If you really want to do this, I accept it for my mother. Patricia smiled and held out her hand to him. Thank you, Joao. Why are you thanking me? I'm the one who should be thanking you. You gave me something more valuable than any money can buy. You taught me a lesson in humanity. The following days were filled with intense research. Patricia used her connections to find the best Alzheimer's specialists in the country. She discovered an experimental treatment being tested at the hospital, which had shown promising results. The process to include Dona Rosa in the program would be complicated and expensive, but Patricia was determined. She paid for detailed tests, consultations with specialists, and all treatment costs. 3 weeks later, Donna Rosa began the new medication protocol. The doctors warned that results were not guaranteed and would take months to appear. During this period, Patricia became a regular visitor to the workshop, not only to monitor Donna Rosa's condition, but because she had developed a genuine friendship with Joao. He inspired her with his simple but meaningful philosophy of life. She began to rethink her business priorities, focusing less on maximum profit and more on the social impact of her businesses. Joao, have you ever thought about reopening an engineering company? Sometimes, but I don't want to leave the workshop. People here depend on me. What if you could do both? How so? What if you started a company that brought technology to this neighborhood, created jobs right here? Joao stopped working on the car engine and looked at her. Are you serious? Very serious. It could be a factory for energy-efficient equipment. You already have the patents. I have the capital. Patricia, that would be a dream come true. I've always wanted to contribute to the development of this community. Then let's make it happen. But what about my mother? She can stay at the company during the day. We can create a special space for her. Joao was moved by the proposal. It was a chance to combine his passion for engineering with his commitment to the community and caring for his mother. I need to think about it, of course, but know that I'm serious. That night, Joao talked at length with Donna Rosa about the proposal. She was having a good day and understood the situation perfectly. My son, you have always been brilliant. You can't waste your talent. But what about your mother? I'll be fine. You'll be close by. And Patricia seems like a good person. Are you sure? I am, Joao. Your dreams are important too. The next day, he accepted Patricia's proposal. They spent weeks developing the project. It would be a factory for industrial automation equipment that would generate 200 direct jobs in the region. The initial investment would be $8 million reais. Patricia would provide the capital and Joao the technology. The profits would be split 50-50, but a percentage would be allocated to social projects in the community. Dear listener, if you are enjoying the story, please like it, and above all, subscribe to the channel. This really helps us who are just starting out to continue. While the plans took shape, Donna Rosa continued the experimental treatment. After 3 months, the doctors noticed a slight improvement in her cognition. She was more lucid for longer periods, and her mental confusion had decreased. Joao, is the medicine working? She asked during a consultation. It seems so, Mom. How are you feeling? Fine, I still forget some things, but I don't feel so lost. The doctor explained that the treatment would not reverse the disease, but it could significantly slow its progression. In cases like Mrs. Rosa's, we have been able to stabilize the condition for years. She can maintain a good quality of life for a long time. Joao hugged his mother emotionally. Patricia watched the scene with tears in her eyes. 6 months later, the Santos Cavalcante factory was inaugurated on a plot of land in Vila Esperança. The modern building contrasted with the simple houses around it, but blended harmoniously into the landscape. On opening day, hundreds of people from the community attended. Joao gave a moving speech about the importance of dreaming big without forgetting your roots. This company was born from a life lesson. I learned that true success is not in what we achieve, but in what we do for others. Patricia also spoke, recounting how she had been transformed by the experience. I was a person who judged people's worth by their bank account. João taught me that real value lies in character, kindness, and love for others. Dona Rosa was present, lucid and proud. She cut the ribbon at the inauguration together with her son and Patricia. My João has always been special, she told the crowd. Now everyone can see it. The workshop continued to operate, but now with 3 hired mechanics. João spent his mornings at the factory and his afternoons at the workshop, always accompanied by Dona Rosa. A year after the inauguration, the company was already exporting equipment to all of Latin America. João developed new technologies that revolutionized the industrial automation sector. Patricia completely changed the way she did business. She created a social responsibility program that included scholarships, free medical care, and professional training for the community. She also kept up the habit of visiting the workshop regularly, not only for professional reasons, but because she had developed a genuine appreciation for the simplicity and authenticity of the people there. Patricia, can I ask you a personal question? João said on one of these visits. Sure, do you regret learning about our reality? What do you mean? Your life was simpler before. Fewer social responsibilities, less emotional involvement. Patricia thought about the question. João, I had an empty life, rich but empty. Now I have purpose, and that's worth it. It's worth more than all the money in the world. 2 years after the humiliation at the workshop, Patricia was unrecognizable. She was still a successful businesswoman, but now with social awareness and well-defined priorities. She spent every weekend with her mother, who was in good health and loved helping with the company's social projects. Dona Marta had become a kind of grandmother to the community, always willing to listen to employees' problems and offer advice. João had also changed, but in a different way. He was still the same kind and generous person, but now with opportunities to impact lives on a larger scale. His mother was stable thanks to the experimental treatment. On bad days, she still got confused, but the episodes were less frequent and less severe. João, are you happy? Asked Patricia during a company meeting. Very. And you? For the first time in decades, I can say yes. What has changed? I've learned that happiness doesn't come from what we accumulate, but from what we share. João smiled. My mother always said that, but sometimes we need to hear it from different people to understand. Your mother is wise, yes, and you have become wise too. 3 years after their first meeting, Santos Cavalcante was a national benchmark for innovation and social responsibility. João had been invited to speak at universities about social entrepreneurship. Patricia developed a microcredit program that helped hundreds of families start small businesses. She also created a community daycare center that served the children of employees. One day, a young journalist approached Patricia to do a story on business transformation. Ms. Patricia, what really motivated you to change the way you do business? A mechanic who taught me about values. How so? I humiliated a man because I thought he had no value. I discovered that he had more value than I ever imagined possible. Can you tell me the story? Patricia recounted the entire story from the humiliation at the repair shop to the business partnership. The journalist was impressed. Are you still in touch? We are partners and friends. He constantly teaches me about humility and purpose. What would you say to other entrepreneurs who only think about profit? That true profit comes when our success also benefits other people. The story was published on the cover of a national magazine and became a reference in business schools. João was embarrassed by the exposure, but Patricia made a point of honoring him publicly. This man saved my soul without even knowing it, she said in a television interview. He taught me that there is something more important than status, human dignity. 5 years later, Dona Rosa was 78 years old, and surprisingly well. The experimental treatment had resulted in an almost complete stabilization of her condition. She helped at the company's reception desk and was loved by all the employees. Dona Rosa, how do you feel working here? Asked a new employee proudly. My son has always been special, but now everyone can see it, how big his heart is. Since he was little, he helped everyone. I always knew he would do important things. João, who was listening to the conversation from afar, approached. Mom, are you bragging again? It's not bragging, it's the truth. You are my pride and joy, Joao. You are my mother. Patricia watched the interaction from her desk in the boardroom. Even after 5 years, she was still moved to see the love between mother and son. She herself had become very close to her mother. Dona Marta lived with her and actively participated in all of the company's social projects. That day, Patricia made an important decision. She went down to the reception area where Joao was talking to Dona Rosa. Joao, I need to talk to you. Sure, is there a problem? No, a proposal. They went to the meeting room. Patricia had a solemn expression. Joao, you changed my life in a way you can't even imagine. Patricia, you've already told me that. Let me finish. I want to make you a majority partner in the company. Joao was speechless. What do you mean? I want you to have 60% of the company. You deserve it, Patricia. I can't accept that. Why not? Because it wouldn't be fair. You invested the initial money and you invested something more valuable. Your knowledge, your passion, your soul. This company only exists because of who you are. Joao was moved, but continued to resist. I can't accept it. Then accept it as a gift from life. You gave up a brilliant career to take care of your mother. You deserve to be rewarded. Patricia, besides that, I want you to know that I've learned to see beyond appearances. I've learned that a person's true value isn't in what they have, but in who they are. Joao hugged Patricia, moved. Thank you for everything. I'm the one who's grateful, Joao. You saved my humanity. The stock transfer ceremony was held at the company itself with all the employees present. Joao gave a speech that moved everyone. When I met Patricia, she judged me by appearances, but she had the humility to recognize her mistake and the courage to change. That makes her an extraordinary person. Patricia also said, Joao taught me that success without purpose is empty. Today, our success has meaning because it impacts lives, transforms communities, and generates hope. Dona Rosa was in the front row, applauding proudly. Dona Marta was by her side, also moved. What a beautiful story, Rosa, said Dona Marta. Yes, Marta. Our children have learned that love is worth more than any wealth. After the ceremony, there was a party at the company. Employees, family members, and people from the community celebrated together. Joao and Patricia talked in a more private corner. Joao, can I make a confession? Of course. That first day when I humiliated you, I was going through a difficult time. I had lost an important bid and was taking my frustration out on you. Patricia, that's in the past now, but I want you to know that there was no excuse for my behavior. You didn't deserve that. Maybe it was necessary. If it weren't for that day, we would never have gotten close. Do you really believe that? I do. Sometimes life puts us in difficult situations to teach us important lessons. What lesson did I need to learn? Humility, empathy, the value of simple people. And what lesson did you need to learn? Joao thought for a moment that my kindness could have a greater reach, that I could help more people without abandoning my mother. So we both grew. We grew up and became better people. They watched the party in progress. People from all walks of life living together harmoniously, united by the common purpose of building a better community. Patricia, do you still remember what it was like before we met? I remember. I was an empty person, focused only on accumulating wealth. And now I have a purpose. I know why I wake up every day. What is your purpose? To make a difference in people's lives. To use my privilege to create opportunities for those who didn't have the same chances I did? Joao smiled. That's a beautiful purpose. And yours? It has changed. It remains the same. To take care of those I love and help those in need. Only now I can do it on a larger scale. Your mother is still a priority. She always will be, but now I can take care of her while taking care of other people as well. They returned to the party and spent the rest of the night celebrating with the community. 2 years later, the Santos Cavalcante Company had become a model for social business in Brazil. Universities took students to see the project, and entrepreneurs from other countries came to seek inspiration. Joao had become a national reference in innovation with a social purpose. He regularly gave lectures on how to reconcile business success with community responsibility. Patricia developed a business transformation methodology that was being replicated in other regions of the country. She created a consulting firm specializing in helping companies develop social awareness. Dona Rosa, at 80, remained stable and active. She had become a kind of mascot for the company, always present at events and loved by everyone. One day during a routine medical visit, the specialist gave some surprising news. Donna Rosa, your condition has been stable for 5 years. It is rare to see such positive progress. Does that mean she won't get worse? Asked Joao. I can't guarantee it, but she can maintain this quality of life for many years to come. Here you attribute this stabilization to the treatment, of course, but also to the loving and stimulating environment in which she lives. Love is the best medicine for any illness. Joao hugged his mother, deeply moved. Patricia was present at the consultation and was also moved. Donna Rosa, you are an example of strength, said Patricia. No, dear, I am just a mother who was loved by a special son. You are also special. I only did what any mother would do. I loved my son unconditionally. Not all mothers do that, Donna Rosa. Then they are missing out on the best part of life. That night, Joao and Patricia talked about the future of the company and their personal lives. Joao, have you ever thought about getting married? I have, but it's hard to find someone who understands my situation. What situation? My mother will always be my priority. Not everyone accepts that. The right person will accept it, will even admire it. Do you think so? I'm sure of it. Your dedication to your mother is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And you've never thought about getting married again? Patricia had been married for 10 years but divorced 15 years ago. Her ex-husband couldn't stand her excessive dedication to work. I think about it, but now it would be different. I wouldn't be the same kind of obsessive woman I used to be. What would she be like? She would be a woman who understands the value of relationships, who knows how to balance work and personal life. Do you think you would find someone who accepts your past? The past is part of who we are. The right person will accept me completely. They continued talking late into the night about life, relationships, dreams, and plans for the future. 3 months later, Joao met Marina, a special education teacher who worked with the elderly. She was well aware of the challenges of caring for people with Alzheimer's and immediately admired Joao's dedication to his mother. Your mother is beautiful, Joao, Marina said when she first met her. Thank you. She is my life. I see that. It's rare to find such dedicated children. I'm just repaying the love she gave me. Marina was impressed by Joao's patience and affection for Donna Rosa. She began visiting the company and got involved in social projects. Patricia was happy to see Joao find someone special. She herself had started dating Carlos, a volunteer doctor who worked at the company's community clinic. Patricia, you've changed a lot, Carlos said during dinner. How so? When we met, you were focused only on work. Now I see a complete woman. I learned that life is more than work. What taught you that? A wise mechanic who takes care of his mother with Alzheimer's. Tell me the story. Patricia recounted the entire journey, from the humiliation at the workshop to the current partnership. Carlos was impressed. It's an incredible story of transformation. It's a story of redemption. I was a bad person who learned to be good. You weren't bad, Patricia. You were lost. What's the difference? Bad people don't change. Lost people can be found. And Joao found me. Joao showed you the way, but you chose to follow it. 6 months later, Joao asked Marina to marry him. The ceremony was held in the company courtyard with the whole community present. Donna Rosa was radiant, wearing a light blue dress that Patricia had bought especially for her. My son is so handsome, she said to anyone who would listen. You are even more beautiful, Donna Rosa, replied Marina, kissing her new mother-in-law on the cheek. Will you take good care of my Joao? I will, Donna Rosa, and I will take care of you too. That's wonderful, daughter. Now our family has grown. Patricia was the maid of honor at the wedding. In her speech, she moved everyone present. Joao taught me that true love knows no bounds. The love he has for his mother inspired my own transformation. Today I see him finding romantic love with someone who understands and admires his values. Marina, you have chosen an extraordinary man. After the wedding, Marina moved into Joao and Donna Rosa's house. They got along harmoniously from day one. Marina had experience with special care and brought new ideas to stimulate Donna Rosa's cognition. A year later, Patricia also married Carlos. The ceremony was more intimate but equally moving. Joao was the best man and gave a speech about transformation and second chances. Patricia taught me that it's never too late to change. that a person can put pride aside and become better. Carlos, you are marrying a woman who has learned the true value of life. The two couples became great friends. They had dinner together weekly, sharing experiences and planning new projects for the company and the community. Donna Rosa loved the gatherings. She would prepare special sweets and tell old stories that made everyone laugh. Donna Rosa, you are a natural storyteller, said Carlos. It's because I've lived a long life, doctor. When you live a long life, you have many stories to tell. What was the happiest moment of your life? Donna Rosa thought for a moment. It was when I found out I was pregnant with Joao. Then it was seeing him graduate as an engineer, and now it's seeing him happy with Marina and fulfilling his dreams. Three beautiful moments. Life is made up of moments, doctor. The secret is to recognize when they arrive. 5 years after Joao's wedding, the Santos Cavalcante company had expanded to other cities. The social business model was being replicated in 15 Brazilian states. Joao and Marina had two children, Pedro, age 3, and Ana, age 1. Donna Rosa was 85 years old and loved being a grandmother. Grandma, tell me a story, Pedro would ask whenever he visited her. Which story do you want to hear, my love? The one about Daddy who became a prince. Donna Rosa would smile and tell an adapted version of the transformation of Joao's life. For her, her son had truly become a prince when he found his purpose in life. Patricia and Carlos did not have children, but they became the children's adoptive aunt and uncle. They loved attending birthday parties and Sunday lunches at Joao's house. One day, Pedro asked a question that surprised everyone. Aunt Patricia, why did you become friends with Daddy? What do you mean, Pedro? Grandma said you didn't know each other before. Patricia looked at Mrs. Rosa, who smiled mischievously. It's true, Pedro. Your dad taught me something very important. What? That the most special people are sometimes found in the simplest places. Dad is special, very special. He is kind, intelligent, and loves Grandma and you guys very much. Pedro nodded, satisfied with the answer. Mrs. Rosa approached Patricia. Thank you for recognizing my son's value, she whispered. Thank you for raising such an honest man, replied Patricia. 10 years after their first meeting at the workshop, Patricia was writing a book about her personal and professional transformation. The title would be The Mechanic Who Changed My Life, A Lesson in Humanity. She showed the first chapters to Joao, who was embarrassed by the compliments. Patricia, you're making me look like a saint. I'm telling the truth. You are an example of character. I'm just a normal person trying to do the right thing. That's the definition of extraordinary character. Doing the right thing even when no one is looking. You've changed too, Patricia. You've become a completely different person. Because I had a good teacher. The book was released 2 years later and became a national bestseller. The proceeds were donated in full to social inclusion projects in underprivileged communities. Joao continued to avoid media exposure, preferring to focus on work and family, but he fully supported the book project. Why do you support the dissemination of our story? Patricia asked. Because it can inspire other people to change too. Doesn't the exposure bother you? It bothers me, but if our story can touch one person's heart, it's worth it. The book really inspired many changes. Business people from all over the country contacted us reporting transformations in their companies after reading the story. A businesswoman from Recife wrote a moving letter to Patricia. Dear Patricia, your story changed my perspective on life. I was like you used to be, arrogant, prejudiced, focused only on profit. After reading your book, I decided to change. I created a social responsibility program at my company and improved my relationship with my employees. Thank you for having the courage to share your transformation. Similar letters arrived every week. Patricia was moved to see how her experience was impacting other lives. 15 years after their first meeting, Donna Rosa turned 90. The party was grand, held in the company's hall with more than 200 people in attendance. She was lucid and happy, surrounded by her children, daughters-in-law, grandchildren, and lifelong friends. Donna Rosa, what is the secret to reaching 90 years of age in such good health? Asked a journalist covering the event. Love my son, lots of love. Love him and be loved. Anything else? Yes. Never lose faith in people. Even when they seem lost, there is always a chance for change. She looked at Patricia, who was standing next to her. This young woman here is proof of that. She came into our lives lost and became family. Patricia hugged Donna Rosa emotionally. You saved us, Donna Rosa. You raised a son who transforms lives. I raised him with love. Love always bears good fruit. At the same party, Anya Joao announced a new expansion of the company. A social technology research institute would be created to develop innovative solutions for problems in disadvantaged communities. This institute will be the legacy of our partnership, he said, a place where knowledge and your compassion come together to create a better world. Patricia was moved by the announcement. It was exactly the kind of project she dreamed of implementing. The institute was inaugurated years later with the name Instituto Rosa Santos, in honor of the family matriarch. Donna Rosa, at 92, cut the inaugural ribbon alongside her son, daughter-in-law, grandchildren, and Patricia. I never imagined that my name would be on such a beautiful place, she said, admiring the modern building. You deserve it, Donna Rosa. You are an inspiration to us all, replied Patricia. I just loved my son. The rest was a consequence. The institute became a national reference in applied research for social development. Students from all over the country came to study the innovative projects developed there. Joao, now 55, had become a respected figure in academic and business circles, but he remained the same simple and kind person he always had been. Joao, do you consider yourself successful? Asked a university student during a lecture. It depends on the definition of success. How do you define it? Success is being able to make a difference in the lives of the people we love and the people who need help. And have you achieved that? Joao looked at the audience where his mother, his wife, his children, and Patricia were sitting. I have. I have a family I love, true friends, and the opportunity to help people every day. Is that success? For me, it's the greatest success possible. Patricia, at 60, had become one of the most respected businesswomen in the country, but her greatest achievement was becoming a better person. She kept up the habit of visiting Joao's original workshop, which was still serving the local community. Whenever she felt lost or stressed, she would go there to reconnect with her roots. Why do you keep coming here? Asked Osvaldo, who at 85 still frequented the workshop, to remind me where I learned the most important lessons of my life. What lessons? Humility, compassion, the value of simple people. Joao was always special. He was. But it took me a while to recognize that. The important thing is that you recognized it. That's true, Mr. Osvaldo. That's true. 20 years after their first meeting, the story of Joao and Patricia had become a case study in business schools around the world. The business model they created was being replicated in dozens of countries, always adapted to local realities, but maintaining the fundamental principles: social responsibility, community development, and valuing human beings. At 95, Donna Rosa remained the beloved matriarch of the family and the company. Her lucidity was impressive for her age, and she continued to participate actively in everyone's lives. One day during a family gathering, she made a surprising announcement. I want to take a trip. Where to, Grandma? Asked Pedro, now 18. To the land where I was born. I want to revisit the place of my childhood before I leave. Everyone was concerned about the trip, but Donna Rosa was determined. Mom, are you sure? Asked Joao. I am, my son. I feel it's time to close a cycle. The trip was organized with great care. The whole family went along. Joao, Marina, Pedro, Ana, Patricia, Carlos, and Donna Marta, who at 85 had become a close friend of Donna Rosa. They visited the small town in the interior of Minas Gerais where Donna Rosa was born. She showed them the house where she grew up, the school where she studied, and the church where she was baptized. This place shaped who I am, she said, looking at the bucolic landscape. What do you mean, Grandma? Asked Anna, now 15 years old. Here I learned that the most important things in life are simple: family, friendship, honesty, work. And did you pass these values on to Dad? I tried. It seems I succeeded. Joao hugged his mother emotionally. You did it, Mom, and thank you so much for that. The trip was a special moment for the whole family. They spent a week in the city learning about local history and strengthening family ties. On the last day, Mrs. Rosa made a statement that touched everyone. You know I could leave at any moment, right, Grandma? Don't say that, protested Pedro. That's life, my love. But I want you to know that I am the happiest woman in the world. Why, Waham? Asked Anna. Because I have lived a life full of love. I had a wonderful husband. I raised a good son. I gained a dear daughter-in-law. I have beautiful grandchildren. And I even saw my family grow with special people like Patricia and Carlos. She looked at Patricia. You know I consider you a daughter, right? Patricia began to cry. I also consider you a mother, Donna Rosa. So everything is fine. My mission here is accomplished. They returned to Sao Paulo with hearts full of gratitude for the experience. 2 years later, Dona Rosa passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 97. She had lived a full life and left a legacy of love and wisdom. The funeral was a celebration of her life. Hundreds of people attended, from company employees to neighbors in the community. João gave a moving speech. My mother taught me that life is worth living when it is lived with love. She loved unconditionally, forgave easily, and always saw the best in people. Patricia also spoke. Donna Rosa welcomed me when I was an arrogant stranger. She taught me that family is not just blood, it is love, care, and acceptance. After the funeral, the family gathered to read a letter that Donna Rosa had left. My dear children, grandchildren, and grandchildren of the heart, if you are reading this, it is because my journey here has ended. Do not be sad. I lived a wonderful life, full of love and purpose. João, my beloved son, thank you for sacrificing so much for me. You are my greatest pride. Continue to be this kind and generous person. Marina, thank you for loving my son and accepting me as your mother. You brought even more light to our family. Pedro and Ana, you are my joy. Always remember the values I tried to teach you. Kindness, honesty, and love for others. Patricia, my daughter of the heart, thank you for recognizing the value of my João and for becoming part of our family. Your transformation is proof that it is never too late to change. Carlos, thank you for taking care of Patricia and for bringing so much joy into our lives. Marta, thank you for your sincere friendship and for the special moments we have shared. My last request is that you remain united, that you continue to help people in need, and that you never forget. Love is the only thing that really matters in life. With all my love, Rosa. Everyone cried as they read the letter, but they also felt peace. Dona Rosa was gone, but her legacy would live on in each of them. A year after Donna Rosa's passing, the Rosa Santos Memorial was inaugurated at the company. It was a space dedicated to her memory, but also a community center for the elderly in the community. My mother would have loved this place, said João during the inauguration. Why, asked a journalist. Because it brings together everything she loved most: family, community, and caring for the elderly. The memorial became one of the company's most beloved projects. Seniors from the region gathered there for recreational activities, psychological support, and basic health care. Patricia created a special program where company executives spent time with the elderly, listening to their stories and offering companionship. Why did you create this program? Asked an employee. So that other executives can learn what I learned, that wisdom does not come from books, it comes from life experience. And what do the elderly teach? Patience, gratitude, the importance of relationships, things you don't learn in an MBA program. 5 years after Dona Rosa's departure, João and Patricia were invited to speak at Harvard University about leadership with a social purpose. How do you define leadership? Asked a professor. Leadership is serving, replied João. It's using your power and influence to improve other people's lives. And how did you develop this perspective? Asked a student. Patricia replied, through a painful lesson in humility. I learned that judging people by their appearances is the quickest way to miss opportunities for growth. Can you elaborate? I humiliated a man because I considered him inferior. I discovered that he was superior to me in all the aspects that really matter: character, compassion, wisdom. That completely changed the way you lead. Today, I try to listen more, judge less, and always seek the potential in people, regardless of their background or social status. João added, and I learned that it is possible to maintain personal values while building something great. We don't have to become worse people to be successful. The lecture was very well received and led to invitations to other universities around the world. During one of these trips, Pedro announced that he wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. Dad, I want to study engineering and then work for the company. Are you sure, son? You can choose any career. I'm sure. I want to continue the family legacy. What legacy? To use knowledge to help people. Joao was moved by his son's response. I'm proud of you, Pedro, but remember, the most important thing is not what you do, but how you do it. What do you mean? You can be an engineer, a doctor, a teacher, anything. What matters is doing it with love and dedication, always thinking about how you can help others. Anna also showed interest in pursuing a career in the social field. And Patricia, I want to be like you. What do you mean, Anna? I want to help companies be more humane. It's a beautiful field, Anna, but it requires a lot of study and dedication. I'm willing. I want to make a difference in the world. Patricia smiled, remembering how her own values had changed over the years. 25 years after their first meeting at the workshop, Joao was 65 and Patricia was 67. Both had become global leaders in socially conscious business. The Santos Cavalcante Company was present in 12 countries and had directly impacted the lives of more than 500,000 people through its social programs. The Rosa Santos Institute had developed technologies that revolutionized the way companies relate to disadvantaged communities. Joao, do you consider yourself fulfilled? Asked Patricia during a conversation at the end of the day. Completely. And you? Me too. But sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I hadn't met you. I would probably be just as successful. Financially, perhaps, but it would be an empty life. Why do you say that? Because I wouldn't know the true meaning of success. What is the true meaning? Success is when your work benefits other people, when your life makes the world a little better. Joao smiled. You learned the lesson well. I had a great teacher. We had mutual teachers. You taught me that it's possible to dream big without losing your humility. How so? Before we met, I thought I had to choose between helping a few people close to me or many people far away. You showed me that I can do both, and you showed me that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Anyone can, Patricia. You just need the courage to get started. They watched the company's activity through the window, employees leaving after a day's work, greeting each other, chatting animatedly about personal and professional projects. Look at that scene, said Joao. What? Happy people leaving work. That's rare in the corporate world. Why is it different here? Because here people feel that their work has meaning. They're not just making money, they're building something important. It's true, that makes all the difference. When people feel that they are contributing to something bigger than themselves, they work with passion, and we managed to create that. We did it, but the credit is not ours. It belongs to all the people who bought into our vision and helped build it. Patricia reflected on the journey they had taken together. Joao, do you regret anything? I regret that it took me so long to meet you, he said with a smile. What do you mean? Imagine if we had met 20 years ago. How many good things we could have done together. Maybe we weren't ready 20 years ago. How so? I was very arrogant. You were very focused on your mother. We needed those experiences to become who we are today. That's true. The timing was perfect, even though it was painful at first, especially because it was painful. The best lessons come from the most difficult experiences. 30 years after their first meeting, Pedro had graduated with a degree in engineering and was already working at the company developing new social technologies. Anna had become a consultant in corporate social responsibility. Joao, at 70, had officially retired, but continued to visit the company as an advisor. Patricia, at 72, had also reduced her activities, but remained actively involved in strategic decisions. One day, Pedro asked a question that surprised his father. Dad, you and Aunt Patricia really hated each other in the beginning. Not exactly hate, son. It was more misunderstanding. How so? She saw me as worthless because I was a poor mechanic. I saw her as superficial because she was rich and arrogant. And what changed? We discovered that our first impressions were wrong. She wasn't superficial. She was lost. I wasn't worthless. I was unknown. What lesson does that teach? Joao thought about the question, that we should never judge people by first impressions, that everyone has a story, a reason for being who they are, and that everyone can change. Exactly. Patricia changed completely. I also changed in a different way. How did you change? I learned that I can take care of my family and at the same time help many other people. Before I thought I had to choose one or the other. Anna, who was listening to the conversation, made an interesting observation. You two complemented each other. How so? Joao asked. Dad had kindness, but he lacked ambition. Aunt Patricia had ambition, but she lacked kindness. Together you created something perfect. Joao and Patricia looked at each other, surprised by the depth of the young woman's observation. It's an interesting perspective, said Patricia. It's true, agreed Joao. You inspired me to dream big. I inspired you to dream with purpose. And together we changed the world around us. We changed our part of the world. And that's already a lot. At that moment, they received some special news. Pedro had developed a technology that would allow drinking water to be brought to rural communities in a sustainable and inexpensive way. Dad, I want to dedicate this invention to the memory of Grandma Rosa. Joao was moved. She would be very proud, son. Why? Because you are using your talent to help people in need. That's exactly what she always wanted for our family. Pedro's technology was implemented in 200 underprivileged communities, benefiting more than 50,000 people. At an awards ceremony, he gave a speech that moved everyone present. This invention is not mine. It is the result of values I learned from my family. My grandmother taught me about love. My father taught me about kindness. My mother taught me about dedication. And my Aunt Patricia taught me about determination. What is the most important lesson you have learned? Asked a journalist. That true success is when our achievements benefit other people. There is no greater satisfaction than knowing that your work improves lives. After the ceremony, the family gathered for dinner. It was a tradition they had maintained for decades. Pedro, your grandmother would be very proud, said Marina. Do you really think so, Mom? I'm sure of it. She always said that a grandmother's greatest pride is to see her grandchildren using their talents for good. Patricia added, Donna Rosa planted seeds of kindness in you. Now we are seeing the fruits, and the seeds will continue to be planted, said Anna. I want to teach my children the same values. What values? Asked Carlos. Humility, compassion, determination, and love for others. Those are beautiful values, said Joao. They are our family values, replied Anna. End of story. Now tell me what you thought of the story and where you are following us from. If you have something to share with us, leave your sincere comments below. Do you believe that Patricia's transformation was convincing? We would love to read your opinion. Thank you very much for your company. Don't forget to leave your like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other exciting stories.